And welcome back, everybody. Today I'm going to be playing a new game for you guys. It's by no means a new game, but it's one of my favorite games of all time. I probably have 2.5 thousand hours, that's 2,500 hours invested in this game. Yes, you heard that right, 2,500 hours. The game is called Stonehearth. It's a voxel-based colony management type game with a lot of building elements, some RPG elements. This is a, you know what, really is a great game. The art style, the play style, the creation, the freedom in this game, it really is a lot of fun. Excuse me, sorry. Without talking too much, let's go ahead and start a new chapter. So today I'm going to be playing the Ascendancy. Now the Ascendancy is basically the starting little group of players. You can play any of the three groups. You have the Nordlings, who are like Northerners, who rely on hunting, and then you have the Raya's children, who are desert based, and they build with like clay and stuff like that. And then you have the Ascendancy, who are more tempered towards forests and stuff. So let's go ahead, and I'm gonna play normal just to show you guys how everything goes. And let's select the roster of people. So now when you select your roster, well, it loads, you're given five little people. Their name, they come completely random. As you can see, their stats are completely varied, and there's three main stats in the game. So you have mind, body, and spirit. Mind is for like building and creative jobs. It determines how smart they are and how fast they can get tasks done. Next, you have body, which shows off their physical prowess in combat and how well they can do physical laborious tasks. So let's say hauling material from one side of the map to the other, how fast they can move. Then you have spirit. Spirit is a very important skill, or excuse me, a very important attribute, because it's going to determine how brave they are, how much healing that they can do if they take a healing profession, as well as compassion, which means like how well that they befriend animals. So let's go ahead, now that we know that information, let's go ahead and take these people. So if you look at, we have a fairly good mix of people. We have some 6s in here for spirit. This guy will be a good healer. This chick has 2 mind, 4 spirit, and 5 body, meaning that she'd be a decent soldier. Then you have Bri Oppen, who has 6 mind, 3 body, and 4 spirit, meaning he'd be a great carpenter or mason, because he'd have really good building. And then you have Ward, who also has a 6 spirit. And then finally you have Rain Carvid, who kinda is in the middle of everything. So without, you know, mixing things up too much, I'm just going to go ahead and accept the roster. If you don't like the citizens that you get, you can always re-roll them and it'll give you a brand new set of citizens. But for the sake of the video and just getting things started, that's fine. After you choose your citizens, you're going to be selecting a loadout, and different loadouts are going to determine the type of playstyle that you're going to have in the early game. For me, I'm a veteran of this game. I've been playing it for a long time. I know the ins and outs of it, so I'm going to go with the merchant caravan. The reason for that is it gives you a sword, so that you don't have to build one early on, which is save you a little bit of time, a little bit of resources, so you can get your first soldier out on the field. But most importantly, you get a trapper's knife. A trapper's knife allows you to turn one of your citizens into a trapper, and the trappers are used primarily for early food, so early meat, like you catch a bunny, you skin it for the meat and for its pelt, meaning that you can get leather early on, which is a very, very, very good thing. And then you have an herbalist staff. The herbalist staff sets you up early game to be able to craft potions with your herbalist, which are going to keep your hearthlings healed up, as well as some buffs. So we're going to go ahead and go with the merchant caravan. After you choose your citizens and your loadout, you're going to choose a map. So now, if you look at the right hand side, you can see how the stats change for the trees, the wildlife, and the minerals right underneath the name of where you're at. So the further you choose closer to the mountains, you're gonna get more minerals. The closer you are to the green, the more wildlife and trees and plants you're gonna have. So what you need to do is you need to find the right balance between minerals, wildlife, and plants. So right here, as you can see, I can kind of find, let's see if I can get 3 of everything. So right there, this is perfect. I have 3 minerals, 3 wildlife, and 4 trees and plants. Let's see, can I trade off one of them? No, that's fine. Right here, this is a perfect starting location. Also, if you don't like the map that you got rolled, you can always roll the new map. But for the sake of showing off the video, this is a perfect spot. Let's go ahead and just settle here. Now, The great thing about this game is that there are no limitations. You can build whatever you want as long as it functions, and as long as you can think about it, you can more than likely build it. The building editor is very, very well thought of. It's been revised 2 or 3 times now, so it's not very buggy. I mean, of course, with all games that have this type of free build type of things, you're always going to encounter some form of bug at some point, but for the most part, this game is pretty well fleshed out. So let's go ahead, whereas this banner says click me to place your town banner. So wherever you place this is where your town is going to initially get started off. So for me, let's go ahead and start off on this little hill. Okay, so if you press comma, you can change the way your things are faced. So let's go ahead and drop this banner right there, right in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and press 1 really quick. That pauses the game so I can explain something really quick. So when you first start off, you have your 5 hearthlings, and then you start off with the items that you chose in your loadout. You also start with a hearth. The hearth is going to provide you warmth, and as well as a place for your hearthlings to chill out when they need a break from work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear myself a little campsite. So let's go ahead. We're going to go here to the harvest button, and we're going to go to gather. So we're going to go ahead and chop these trees down. Let's go ahead and clear out a little surrounding area from where I want to have a little base of operations, and then I'm going to go ahead and unpause the game. Now let's see the items I start with. I obviously started off with the practice sword because that's what I chose, and it also comes with the trapper's knife and then the herbalist staff, which is over here, along with some food. And someone has a pet? Bun Bun, befriended by Irving Framer. So one of these guys started off with a pet. That's pretty cool. Now, as well as having the knife, the sword, and the herbalist staff, I also have a carpenter's saw, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and while they're chopping that down, I'm going to promote one of my hearthlings to a carpenter. So let's go ahead and promote him. The reason why I'm going to choose this guy, Bri, because he has 6 mind, meaning that he's going to become a very skilled carpenter in a very short amount of time. And as you can see, after I chop those trees down, I'm left with these stumps. So let's go ahead and go to the gather button one more time and chop them down one more time, and that'll remove these stumps. So as you can see, we have all this wood laying around and there's nothing to do. We have one guy just hanging out here. That's my carpenter. Let's go ahead, go to the crafting station, and we're gonna go ahead and build his workbench. Now these guys are gonna need to do something with all these items. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a location for them to drag all their items. So let's go ahead and create a stockpile. And we're going to go ahead and on the stockpile we're going to hit all. Now what that's going to do is going to allow our hearthlings to grab all the items that they see right here, and they're going to drag them to this location, and that's going to be our storage area. As you can see, our carpenter just finished his carpenter's workbench, and now it's placeable. So now that it's right here, let's go ahead and place it. I'll put it a little close to it. So now he can start working on items. So I'm going to go back to the crafting screen. And now that his workbench is ready and placed, we can build some first starting items. So the items that are available to you are going to be highlighted. Everything else is going to be grayed out. So see how everything is kind of gray and these aren't? That means you can craft those right away. So starting off, this is day 1. There's a few items that you're going to want to get day 1. Let's go ahead and grab some beds for these guys. So I do have juniper wood here. See how these juniper logs are different from these oak logs? That's great. That means that I can build some juniper beds, which is for the most part, it's just an aesthetic type of wood. So we're going to go ahead and craft 6 beds. Now, while the carpenter is busy with that, what we're going to do is we're going to promote one more hearthling to this trapper. So we're gonna find one of these guys who has. We're gonna use Ward Mont. The reason for that is because he has 6 compassion, or 6 spirit, and 4 body, meaning that he's gonna be really good at trapping animals. You would think that having all that compassion would make him love animals, but he loves animals, but he loves them with hot sauce. So, little dark joke, but yeah. Let's go ahead and chop these 2 little trees down too, just to keep it symmetrical. What is this? Cancel that. Okay, so now Ward, he has been turned into a trapper. So in order for him to trap animals, we need to set up a zone. So let's go ahead and go to the designated zone. So earlier we had the stockpile, we created that, and we also have a trapping ground. So what we're going to do is these sets of trees right here are perfect for animals. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this trapping zone right here as big as we can. And as you can see right now, Ward is only at the level where he can only trap small animals. So let's go ahead and have him trap some small game. He's able to trap in this area, and let's go ahead and set up one more little area for him. Let's set it up right over here. So now he's got 2 giant chunks of land that he can trap animals on. And that's going to provide my Hearthlings with a steady flow of meat for food, and with pelts that later on can be used to create clothing, create armor, create rugs, decorations, you name it. So what we're going to do now, we're kind of secluded onto this tiny little basin of a hill. So what we're going to do is we're going to expand our universe just ever so slightly. We're going to go to the place nodule button, and we're going to go ahead and build a ladder. We're going to build a ladder here. I like to double ladders just to make it aesthetically pleasing to my eye. I don't know what you guys would choose. And we're going to go ahead and add another ladder to this level, so that we can go to the ground level, and we can also go to this top level. Now you cannot control your Hearthlings. Look, as if I click on one of my Hearthlings, I cannot move her physically. I can only give commands to the game and they act accordingly, which is why I love this game, because you never know how your Hearthlings are going to react to a situation. The happier they are, the more likely they are to follow a command right away. The more sad and depressed that they get, the more chances they have of wandering off and being sad and crying in a corner because they're depressed. And that's a huge impact in this game, is how happy or sad your Hearthlings are. All you gotta do is open their character sheet. So let's go ahead and click on this redhead, this pretty Grayla redhead. So we're gonna click on her character sheet, and as you can see right now, she's content, and this little slider bar is gonna change depending on what goes on through her day. So if you look over here, she has a lack of safety. Without some form of city guard, I just don't feel at ease in the wilderness. She has a negative form modifier. So since there's no soldiers walking around protecting the town, she feels at ease. So let's go ahead and change that. Grayla, I believe, was going to be the girl that we're going to use as a soldier. So let's go ahead and fix her gripe really quickly and promote her to a footman. So Miss Grayla, you have taken it upon yourself of protecting the hearth. Go ahead, pick up your sword, and look at this. She's going to get promoted and change jobs. That's awesome. As you can see, her uniform changed along with everybody else. The carpenter has his own uniform, the trapper has their own uniform, and the soldiers, one of my favorite, have their own uniform. And the cool thing about the soldier is the equipment that you build, they are going to equip over time, and their uniform will change. So let's say you build leather armor. Their armor is going to change to reflect that. Right now, the only weapon that she has is the wooden sword that we crafted her. So you see, she only has a practice sword. And if you look, it's a wooden practice sword, which is great. It's got a little notch in the blade. It's awesome. I love the attention to detail. So now that we have our carpenter building those beds, as you can see, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place them, because it's going to be nightfall pretty soon, and I don't want my Hearthlings sleeping on the floor. Just for the fact that it's uncomfortable, and that can lower our Hearthlings' mood, meaning they'd be more depressed, and like I said earlier, the more depressed Hearthlings you have, the worse your gameplay is going to be. So it's generally a good rule to keep them happy, keep them well fed, and keep them entertained. And what I'm doing right now is I'm placing some seeds so that later on I don't run out of trees when I need to chop them down. So it's important that every time you chop some trees down that you're replacing them. Okay, so right now we're going to go back to the carpenter's menu, and now that he's almost done with his beds, we're going to go ahead and build some storages. And you're saying, Steven, or Black Swan, pardon my French, why do I need storages? We already have this giant storage ground right here. True, but it looks ugly to the eye. Who wants to live in a city where all the resources are just stacked right there? You need stuff to be put into crates, into barrels, into you know what I mean. So let's go ahead and build a few small crates. We'll build 4 of those, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna build some garden lanterns just to give my Hearthlings some light during the nighttime, just so it's not so dark. And anything else in here at the moment? Can I build a shield for my little friend? I'm gonna go ahead and craft a rough wooden shield for Grayla, for our soldier, so that later on, when she does inevitably get into combat, she is a little bit more sturdy. So we've got a few things taken care of so far in this game. We've gotten our first few jobs. We have our food income. which is going to be from our trapper. We have our soldier to protect our little guys, and then we have our first crafter, the carpenter. So we've pretty much touched all our bases. Now, while these guys are working, we can explore our map a little bit. So let's go ahead and zoom in and look. So as you can see, we have a tree here, a chestnut tree. If we chop it down, we're going to get some nuts, which is great for the food. We have a, what is this? This is like a buffalo, a bison. If I kill him, I'll get his resources, but I kind of like him. I don't really need those resources right now, so we're going to leave him be. Now, if you scoot a little bit further, you see these berry bushes. I like these berry bushes. So I'm going to go to harvest, and I'm going to uproot them. Or excuse me, I'm going to go to place, and I'm going to go to move items, and I'm going to scroll over these bad boys. Now, as you can see, they're in my selection hand. So let's go ahead and move these closer to my base. I'll put them right here, so that it's easier access. And whenever they're done being harvested, because you can harvest them for the berries, they grow back over time. So that way, my heartlings don't have to run all the way down here to access them. And there's some more berry bushes over here, so let's go ahead and take these as well. And these ones, we'll make this a little berry farm, a nuts berry farm, a nuts and berries farm. Haha. Okay, sorry, dad joke. And I'm gonna place one last bed because I have 5 heartlings, and there's only 4 beds because you don't want them sharing beds. If they share beds, they get very sad. They don't like sharing. Would you want to share a bed with a complete stranger that you just met? Probably not. Alrighty, so now that we've touched all our bases, we have berry bushes that are going to be placed for extra food. We have our trapper trapping meat for extra food. We have our crafter crafting things, and then we have our first little city guard, Miss Grayla. So everything so far is going good. So now I'm going to take you into the very next step of what this game has to offer, and I'm talking about the building system. So let's go ahead and go to design building. At first, it's going to seem a little complicated, but I assure you it's the furthest thing from that. There's a few different commands to change, but they're very simple to learn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to rooms, okay? And when I click on rooms, it's going to give me these options right here. So you can choose what the wall material looks like, what the columns are, which is the corner pieces in your 90-degree corners, and then what the floor is going to be. So for the sake of this game and this playthrough, I'm going to build something very basic, a nice little starter house for my hearthlings. So let's start with the wall. Since these guys are more medieval, and I love playing the medieval playthrough, of course you can craft or build whatever you want, but I like the medieval aesthetic. So I'm going to go ahead and use this white Napa ash for the wall. The columns, I'm going to use burnt gray, cocoa brown, bistre, Morocco brown, clinker. You know what? Let's go with bistre. Pardon my French if I don't say it correctly. And the floor, we're going to go ahead and choose punga, cocoa brown, and tobacco brown for the floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to click and we're going to drag. And we can make the house as big as we want or as small as we want. So let's go ahead and just make a small little house to start off with, a 12 by 10. So now we have a nice little box. Boxes aren't very aesthetically pleasing, so let's go ahead and just edit it a bit more. So we're going to drag one more little box right next to it. This one's a 10 by 5, and as you can see, now the house looks a little bit bigger, a little nicer. But Black Swan, what are we going to do about this wall in the way? How are our hearthlings going to get from one room to the other? Well, that's a good question. We're going to go to holes. So we're going to go ahead and go to holes, and we're going to click on the corner of where we want. We're going to drag to the corner. You can either drag down or drag across. For the simplistic version of this, I'm going to go ahead and just drag across. And now the rooms are conjoined. Look at that. It's one giant room. Awesome. I'm going to go to paint really quickly because I don't like the way that this column is sitting here. I'm going to clean that up, and I'm going to clean this up. Perfect. So now we have one giant room. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make it look pretty. So it's up to you and your carpenters and all your crafters. They're all going to have different furniture that they can build and different building amenities such as windows, doors, furniture, for example. The higher level of your crafters, the more options you're going to have. So right now I only have these many options. Later on, when I have more crafters and more higher levels, this menu is going to expand. This menu is going to expand, and this menu is going to drastically expand, as well as this one. So let's go ahead and work with what we have. First, the only way you're going to get into a house is with a door. So let's go ahead and place, I like this door a lot, the wooden door with a window. So let's go ahead and place this door right here. And the reason why we're placing it one block up and not underneath is because this is the floor, obviously. So we place this here. That looks nice. I like it. So now let's give the house some windows to match. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. And if you press the slash button, the question mark slash button, it will change the way the windows look. But I kind of want the windows to match the same as the door window. So let's go ahead and go with this one. Or you know what? Let's give them a long window. I like long windows. Long windows are a lot prettier. So let's give them this window, and then we're going to give a series of 2 together. That looks nice. I like the way that it looks. It's going to bring a lot of natural light into the house, so your Hearthlings have natural light during the day. And so far, I'm liking the way it looks. Now, just to make the house look a little nicer on the outside, I don't like the way the checkered pattern of the wood looks on the floor, so we're going to go ahead and change that. So that most houses have a concrete or stone foundation, we're going to go ahead and change the bottom to gray. Just because that's my personal preference. You can do whatever you want, however you want, but I prefer gray. Excuse me, pardon my French. So now the house is pretty much taking shape. We have a few more things we need to do. I don't like that the door is lifting off the ground like that, so we're going to go ahead and go to blocks. We're going to choose stone, and we're going to use the same color that we used for the foundation, and we're going to give it a nice little lip. So now the Hearthlings have something to step on when they open the door and when they go from the door from inside to the outside. So now it looks a little nicer, a little more pleasing, and a little bit more inviting. So okay, Black Swan, we've got the windows, we've got the flooring, we've got the stoop, we've got the door, we've got the room. What now? Well, all houses need what? A roof. So we're going to go here to the roofing options. And then you're going to have the different options. You can use a wooden roof, clay bricks, stone, or thatching. For the sake of this video, let's go ahead and build, let's go with this red roof. What we're going to do is we're going to drag from one corner down to this corner. Okay? So let's go ahead and drag that down. And it looks a little ugly right here, but don't worry, we're going to fix that right now. So far, this roof looks great. But you know what? I think we could do a little better. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag from here, and we're going to create a second roof. Oops. So we're going to create a second roof. So watch this. We're going to click one more time, and we're going to drag it this way. And you're going to say, well, that looks kind of nice, right? Let me expand that really quickly. But you're going to say, hey, you know, I don't really like the way that looks. Is there any way to change the direction of the roof? Yes, of course. I'm glad you asked. So let's go ahead. Where it has these 4 options, let's go ahead and click left and right. And look at that. Now that completely changed the direction of the house, or excuse me, of the roof. And I think it looks a lot nicer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add a few more details to it. We're going to go ahead and just play around. Now we have the paint editor. We're going to go ahead and add a few more details to the house. Get that crossbeam going. Let's go ahead and get rid of this red, because I don't like the way that looks. And you know what we can do with this little space right here? Let's go ahead and just throw a window there. Let's go with a diamond window, and then right here we'll go with another diamond window. And you know what? I don't like that brown. Let's go ahead and go back to white. And there you have it. And this house took us what, 5 minutes to make? Around there? Let me actually get rid of this with the there you go. Look at that. This house is good to go. Actually, let's go ahead and, for symmetrical reasons, let's go ahead and paint this line also white. And there you have it, chat. Our very first house in game. I think it looks nice. It's cute. Right now it doesn't have any furniture at all, so let's go ahead and change that really quickly. So we're gonna go to the decorations. So for the outside, let's go ahead and put some lanterns in front, just so the house isn't completely in the darkness. And then for the inside, let's go to candles. And now if I press V, it's gonna open the walls. So now we can see inside the house. So let's go ahead and place some lighting fixtures, so it's not so that our Hearthlings aren't in the dark inside. Let's see, we got 3 whole candle holders inside the house, and we'll put one more right by the door. I think we have a single, yep, we do. Wooden candle holder, and we'll put this right by the door. And there you have it, guys. Super simple, easy little house. But let's go ahead and take it one step further. Let's go ahead and put some furniture in here, shall we? We're gonna put, this is gonna be a nice little outside cottage to share with two people can share. So let's put 2 beds in here. Boom, 2 beds. And let's, you know what, they're gonna need a place to eat, correct? So let's go ahead and find some tables. Let's go ahead and put a dining table in here. And now, when you have a dining table, you're obviously going to need a chair, right? So let's go ahead and craft some chairs. And is there anything else in here that we could put? Let's see. What else can we put inside our nice little house? A wooden chest? Yeah, why not? Let's put a wooden chest right there. And anything else that we could put maybe in this little corner? Let's put a writing desk. Just because it looks, oh, you know what? How about right here, oak. Let's put an oak hop chest. There you go. Perfect. I think that looks, actually I'm going to delete this one because that one doesn't work as well. So as you can, there you go, guys. Look at that. We have a nice little house. We have some furniture. We have it's a bed for 2, and it took us 5 minutes. And you see how intuitive this building creator is. It's simple, quick to use, and there's limitless possibilities. If you can think it, you can build it. I promise you. This really is a great game. They really covered a lot of bases when they made this game. Good. So enough jibber jabber. The house is completed. Now what do we do? So we're gonna go to the building option, click it, and now watch this. Our hearthlings, if they're not busy right now, these guys are having lunch. As soon as they're not busy, they're gonna go ahead and pick up the nearest building materials, and they're gonna start construction. And we also have our carpenter, who just started creating the items that we are going to need for the house. So that is a nice little touch also. Whatever you build in your building editor, your carpenter will get the order as soon as the house has been selected to build, and he's going to build everything that needs to be built for that house. Alright, so look at this guy. He's going to town. Irving Framer, which is kind of funny because he's framing a house. That's great. And then we have Miss Rain Carvid, and they're both going to build this little house. So now everything is going good, everything is great. I like the way the game is going and the way the game is progressing. So let's go ahead and fast forward. So we have 3 speeds. We have normal speed, which is press 2. For 3 you have fast forward, and super speed for speed 4. Let's go ahead and press 4 real quick so you can watch these guys. You know what, just to see how pretty the game is, let's go on speed 2. Now you can see these guys are going to be moving a little faster, and they're going to get this house built a lot quicker if they don't need to go to bed, because it is nighttime. They may have to go to bed right now, and since it's dark out, let's go ahead and put some lanterns by their bedside just so they're not, you never know if they're scared of the dark. I was scared of the dark for a very long time. And we also have some small crates here. Let's go ahead and put these right here and put our food in here, just so that it's not exposed to the elements, because food will rot and it will go bad if it's not put in a container. So all I did was I selected our stockpile and I deselected food and drink from that stockpile, so that makes it no longer acceptable at that stockpile. And then we're going to click one of these empty crates, and we're going to go ahead and use it for food and drink only. So now whenever our hearthlings have a chance, they will grab whatever food that's on the floor, as you can see here, and she's going to put it into that box. So you can quickly see how fast this game can turn into a very, very micromanage intensive game. But if you think about it, it really isn't. It is micromanaging in a sense where you need to do a lot of commands, but your hearthlings are going to do most of the work for you. You set the command, and then they go out and complete it. Now sometimes you don't really know what they're going to do. So right now she could have been building this house, but she chose to put the food away, and that's not anything you can control. That is a little downside of the game, but it's also really cool because that gives this game a more random feel and a godlike type of feel, where you can't control the individual, but you can kind of control the commands, and hopefully they listen. Which is why it's up to you to make sure your Hearthlings are always happy, well fed, protected, and if they're in a good mood, they're genuinely going to do everything that you command them to. So let's see, this is what, day 3? It says day 6, but that's the month and the date. So right now we're in day 3 of our little playthrough, and these guys have gotten a lot done so far. They've gotten their beds in a row, they've got some stairs built, they've got food closer to their area. As you can see here, they're picking the fruit off, and after about a couple days, this berry bush is going to completely regrow, giving us a sustainable source of income, or excuse me, a sustainable source of food, which I guess is income in this game because food is extremely important. So let's go ahead and check our daily update. Every day, every morning, you get a daily update. So we have an immigration report. If we meet the requirements, so today we need to make 50 food and have a net worth 275, meaning that our total amount of items that we have need to equal 275 or more, the worth. If we do meet both of these, we get another citizen. Unfortunately, for this day, we didn't make it. Not a big deal. We'll make it tomorrow. I promise you. When this house gets built and the new items that we place in there, the combined worth of the house and the items plus the food that we're going to be harvesting is going to be worth it 100%. So, look at this little guy. Look at this little guy. He's sleeping. Bun Bun. And let's say you don't like Bun Bun's name. We're going to click on Bun Bun. We're going to go to his name and we're going to change it. So let's just name him Wabby. Wabby the Wabbit. Wabby, there you go. And let's just say for whatever reason you don't like Bri Oppin's name. So we're going to go ahead and change Bri Oppin's name to, we're going to name him Hector. Bri, you just got name change. Hector. Alright, Hector. It's your job, man. We gotta finish this house. And now we're checking what we need. So we need 1 stone to fit to that stone that we put right here. It's preventing the Hearthlings from building it. So let's go ahead and mine some stone. Luckily for us, instead of having to go into this mountain and mine, we have some stone laying around the floor. So we're gonna go to gather, and you see this little cubicle of stone? We can gather it really quickly. So let's, with this little bit right here, let's go ahead and just mine that. Now what are these? Wild box plant. These are pretty. Let's go ahead and move these over here to my house just because they look a little nice. I'm all about having pretty flowers in front of my house and all that. So let's go ahead and put those there. They look nice, and later on we can use them for either medicine or I'm pretty sure these are for medicine, yeah. Oh no, these are for strictly decoration, which I'm fine with. So now while we're waiting, it's going to be a long wait. Let's go ahead and go to speed 4. Hey, wake up, Rain. We got stuff to do. Lazy Bones Jones. Let's go ahead and set these other boxes for food and drink. And then this last block is already selected. Now we're going to go back to, or you know what? You guys remember earlier in the video, I had selected a shield to be made for our little soldier. And like I was saying, the items that you build are going to show up on your soldiers. So right now she's talking to her little friend here. When she's done talking, her weapons and her armor are going to show back up. So give it a second and you're going to see her carrying her new shield. Oh, and that little heart thing is because she just had a conversation with that bunny. The more conversations your Hearthlings have with other Hearthlings that they have in common with, they build relationships with them and they get happy, which is amazing. You can literally see these guys get mad at each other, fight with each other, laugh with each other, cry on each other's shoulders, play peekaboo with each other. This really is a great game. So look at right now, Rayla. Check that out. Check her little shield out. It's got a little notch in there. Got a notch in there. Battle damage. I love it. So let's see. Quick recap of the game so far. So we chose our starting location. We gave out our 3 jobs. We have Grayla, the footman. We have Hector as our carpenter. We have Ward as our trapper. And then we have our 2 basic workers. We have our first house being constructed. We have a storage area for all our resources. We uprooted and planted 2 separate berry bush spots. We're mining some stone. And we have our banner set, and watch them light that hearthling, or excuse me, this hearth, Stonehearth, which shout out to the game name. So guys, as you can see, this game is very quaint, it's very cute, it's got a very nice art style, it's very relaxing. Later on it's not going to be as relaxing once combat gets involved and you have 20-30 soldiers trying to protect the town against 100 enemies. At that point it gets really fun. It's also really sad when you watch your little hearthlings running in terror or being, you know, killed. It's kind of sad, but it's part of the game. But in the humble beginnings of this game, it is very, very fun. It's very cute. It's a great game. It's honest to God, it's probably my favorite game ever. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and probably continue this series. We're gonna see what we're gonna continue with this town is. And you know what? We need to name this town. So let's go ahead and go to our bulletins really quick before we end this episode. And click on a strange bird. A bird messenger. An odd bird arrives with a letter in its beak, stamped with the official seal of the Ascendancy. Let's open the letter. A letter from the capital. Dear Expedition 120, I hope this letter finds you well. By my guess, you've likely set up camp by now. Yep. As your capital liaison, it is my honor to preside remotely over the official founding of your outpost. I trust that you had ample time to choose a name of your journey. As you know, every new settlement must choose a banner. This banner reflects your spirit and vision, the uniting factor which brought the expedition together. What future do you foresee when you embarked on your quest for township? Holding in your mind a vision of what your town will one day be. Your banner will set that course, but it's up to you to finish it. Choose well, my friends. I eagerly await your reply. Yours, Mayor Burleyhands. So, we get to choose what our banner is going to be. As you can see now, our banner is empty. And we have to choose what we want our banner to reflect for our little kingdom. So we have 3 different banners we can choose. We have Banner of Vitality, Banner of Strength, and Banner of Cunning. Banner of Vitality. Trees produce 25% more wood. Plants and crops both grow 25% faster, and plants have twice their normal appeal. If we're going to go with a pretty and nice looking village, this would be the way to go. Now, Banner of Strength. This settlement will grow strong through earth and steel. Mining gives 50% more ore, stone, and clay. Hearthlings no longer mine cramped spaces. So let's say you're going to build like a dwarven type of kingdom, living underground, mining all day. This would be perfect for you because you're going to get more metal. You can cramp your hearthlings into tiny little rooms and they won't care. Sounds kind of scary, but that's what dwarves do. And then you have Banner of Cunning, which is personally my favorite. This settlement will be a bustling hub of trade. Roads give 3 times their normal speed boost. In this game, you can create roads so that your hearthlings can travel on and they get a speed boost. When you choose the Banner of Cunning, it gives them 3 times their normal speed. So they just zip in all over the map. It's an awesome perk. Your items sell for 50% more. So that is a huge thing in this game, because let's say you have an item that's typically not worth very much. With this banner, it's going to be worth half more, which is crazy. So let's say you have a super expensive item that you would normally get maybe 500 gold for. It's going to be worth 750 gold because of the 50% bonus. That is a great perk, and traders will bring you twice as many goods and gold, meaning that you can sell more to your traders and they can sell you more in return. So we're going to go ahead, and for me it's a no-brainer. We're going to go Banner of Cunning, and we need to name our kingdom. So what should we name our kingdom, chat? How about, let's give it a cool name. Let's give it a cute name. How about Hearthlandia? It'll do for now. Hearthlandia. Daily update. So we met the net worth, but we don't have enough food to get our next person. So that's kind of sad. And our outpost was established, as you can see. We're gonna have a little celebration really quickly. The bird came to hang out with us. And look at that. Now we have a giant chicken or rooster. So these guys are hanging out. He's whistling. And now everybody's in a jovial, happier mood. If you can see, they're conversing with each other. They're happy. They're talking about their likes and their dislikes. She likes that type of bread. She's telling him what he likes. He's alarmed. And see, they're all throwing confetti in the air. This guy's hanging out with us. This is a great game, you guys. If you guys like what you saw today, give me a like. Maybe subscribe if you liked it, and if not, I'm just glad you guys chose to watch this game with me. Glad you guys are along for the ride. This game is Stonehearth. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I certainly did. Until next time, I'm going to tell you guys sayonara. I'm the Black Swan, and have a good night.